we're doing the top. We're doing the top 10 states, because we're talking about the environment. And once these states are gone, it's your fault.
Hang on.
It's not Al Gore's. It's yours.
Only
Al Gore warned us.
one or two of these is going to be seeded.
Oh,
to the
like
ocean.
5 of mine will.
I think like 2 of mine.
Mine's doing pretty good.
Maybe 3.
Wait, do we all have a territory on our top 10?
No.
No, you're
No.
just odd.
I have 2 territories on my
I'm a
top 10.
loyalist. I'm a loyalist to the United States of America, not the United States of Puerto Rico.
I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and start my top 10. 10, I have Cali.
Wait, like you started from the bottom?
Yeah.
Started-
Okay.
How
started
you, like,
from the
build
bottom.
up to the best.
Have you not watched The Basement before?
Well, like I have. I just thought we were gonna start
I
with the top.
exposed her. Sorry.
Is it my turn?
Continue.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
my number 10 was Washington State.
well,
If that helps.
I'll go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Cali is just awesome, honestly, and Washington's okay. Cali has Los
Coming for each
Angeles,
other.
and without Los Angeles, we wouldn't have a lot of pop culture. Now, Washington, you want to
They give
explain?
you Nirvana, blower.
Nirvana, and
It's
they're
way
big.
better.
They're big Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix fans, and you know, I love Nirvana. I love Jimi Hendrix, but Cali gave us a bunch of movies. So
In Seattle, have you guys gone to the Metropolitan Pop Culture Museum?
in Seattle,
Yeah.
I've never been to Washington
have
or
not been to
Cali.
I've
Past.
not been to Washington.
You
First
guys
I've been is
haven't?
like
Okay.
Illinois.
How have you been to all these
Everybody
places?
listen. If you go to Washington, I require you to go to the Metropolitan Pop Culture Museum and look at everything. Paul G. Allen from Microsoft. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
He spent so much money on this awesome museum. I saw props from the original Alien movie in there.
That's your favorite
That's
movie.
It's
so
amazing.
cool.
And there's
That
a
is cool.
giant screen that they play music videos on. It takes up like 2 floors.
That's awesome.
It's called like the Sky Theater or something, and the gift shops are awesome.
That's so cool.
You've got to go. Like if you go out to the West Coast to that area, even if it's Oregon, say you go to like Portland or something, take
Mm.
a 4-hour drive up to Seattle. Like,
Awesome.
I was in Oregon. That's where I was staying. And we took a trip up to Olympia, and we went
Oh, you went to Oregon
that would be
last
cool.
spring break, didn't you?
to go.
2 ago.
Speaking,
remember that.
since you mentioned Microsoft, that made me think of something. But you want to hear like something really cool related to like Marshall? So my mom works at the rec at Marshall, and they have like a fitness
Oh.
class called F45. Yeah, you
we
heard
heard
the
about
story
it
earlier.
today.
Okay.
But they're having like they had a big meeting about how they should like set up the new studio and everything, and they had like taken pictures of the studio to send to like the corporate to see if they liked it. And the person texted back and was like, "Mark doesn't like it, the mirrors. You need to replace them with stuff." And Mark, as in Mark Zuckerberg, because he's like co-owner of F45. No. Why would he Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, I was gonna-
Mark
No.
Wait,
The
I was
Mark
like,
Zuckerberg.
The Mark Zuckerberg
That's awesome.
looked at our studio from Huntington, West Virginia. It's Marshall.
Yeah, but he's kind of a punk.
Well, yeah, I just thought it was cool. I was like, wow.
That's still
Huntington.
pretty cool. Speaking of cool, what is your 10th?
I'm at Virginia.
Virginia's a cool
Because-
place. Thomas
Classic.
Jefferson.
I know.
Classic.
And like they were the OGs, you know.
They are
First
OGs.
colony.
Jamestown. Oh,
I love Thomas
They were the
Jefferson.
first colony, but they were also like the first major failed colony.
yeah.
Well,
they really were.
We want to talk about Roanoke.
Roanoke?
They-
Roanoke.
My
They just kinda
Can you
my
prove that they
great
failed or they just
grandparents are
disappeared?
from Roanoke.
aliens.
My mom's from Roanoke. I grew up going to Roanoke about every weekend.
But
Okay,
I
but
love
you weren't a
Roanoke.
We're
colonist. They
aliens.
just disappeared.
I love no, the other Roanoke. I thought you were talking about
Croatoan.
Roanoke, Virginia.
I'm
like,
talking about like Roanoke.
Roanoke Island?
Croatoan. Yeah.
no, I'm talking about Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh,
No, I'm talking
two
about the
different
colony.
Roanokes.
No, I'm talking about Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay.
The second
We get
the
that.
second largest city in I believe it's second largest. It's like top 3 largest cities behind Richmond and Virginia Beach maybe. Well, Roanoke, Virginia. I grew up going to. Now Roanoke Island. No.
Fail.
I think
Failed as a
they
colony.
probably just joined the Indians. They're like,
Probably.
this is easier. We're going.
I don't blame
I think
them
it's
if they did
aliens.
do that.
Aliens for sure. You can't just pop off there from like Croatoan like it's no big deal.
Okay,
I think that they. I don't know. I feel like they.
oh
Just
gosh.
again, we just never even noticed. They could have a island anywhere, and we just haven't found it yet.
It's true. Let's hear your number 10, Buster.
My number 10's a classic state. It's probably on everybody here's list that everybody likes this state. They're
Gosh, I probably don't have it on here.
Yeah, I probably don't either.
You do.
What is it?
It's Colorado.
I don't have it on my
Oh,
list.
I have Colorado.
I have 2 territories, and I
I
don't
have
have
Michigan.
Colorado.
You do, right?
Yes, Colorado's a good
Nope.
state.
No.
You know
I
what?
What about their
Michigan.
environmental policy?
I know.
They're literally-
Just like,
How could you? Michigan's
Well-
environmental policy is horrid.
It is.
yeah, but they're very
Disgusting.
educated.
Yeah, like Detroit.
But in the
Yeah,
environment,
they're
Very
highly
educated.
educated. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go on to my number
Hey,
9.
I'm not done with Colorado.
You
Let 'em-
Sucks.
It has so
Colorado is a
many
good
cool
state.
mountains.
it's
and
literally my
snowy,
third.
and
Like
that's where The Shining happened.
That is
That's
true. The
good.
Shining
is
happened there.
So good.
That's a great
That was
movie.
like my first like horror movie.
You
Fun
started with The Shining?
I started
Yeah.
with the Skeleton Key.
Holy crap.
Wait, what did you start with?
I think it was like a Chucky movie, but
Oh.
The
Oh.
Shining, that's
Yeah.
like just like diving into the
I
deep
just went,
end.
yeah, basically.
I wasn't scared of The Shining. I was like,
Well,
this
then you
movie's
don't understand
amazing.
horror.
no, I was just like,
No,
this movie's
Disgusting.
amazing. I was not scared. I was like,
it is fantastic.
wow.
It's the third best movie ever made.
Behind The Shawshank Redemption and The Godfather.
No.
Yes,
Anyhow,
the,
what's
the,
your number
the
9?
Shawshank Redemption is the best movie of all time,
Number 9.
according to IMDb.
IMDb.
According to IMDb, it is the only movie with a 9.2 or higher, other than the Joker. But the Joker doesn't have enough ratings. It hadn't been released
It's
yet.
just Joker. You're dropping the ball here, Blower.
The,
I
the
wanna see
Joker
Joker
movie. I
really
said the
bad.
Joker
Me
movie.
too.
Looks like a
Yeah.
good
It's
movie.
referring to as the movie, not Joker. So it's I was saying that
Movie
right.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix is gonna play. It's gonna be good, but it won't be
Joker.
9.2 good.
It's called Joker.
Okay, I said the Joker movie, as in the movie called Joker.
Get on with
Okay,
it, Blower.
exactly. Number 9 is Puerto Rico because it counts as a territory. I've been to San Juan. San Juan is very cool. I was sick and it was my birthday. It was very large. Like I got there and I was like, wow, this is big. A lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be. And the hurricane had just happened like a year or two before. When did the hurricane happen down there? A year ago? 2 years ago? 2 years ago?
About 2.
Because I went in March and I was very surprised. It was very cool. It was very different. In the sense that it felt a lot. It's the least American-like territory. I would say. I don't know.
Is
U.S.
Guam? Is that in United States territory?
Yeah,
I bet Guam's pretty
Guam.
weird.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, which is on this list as well, is probably the least. And then I'd say Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico's weird. Like I thought there'd be a lot more English. There's a lot less English than I thought there was gonna be. Like I thought, I walk into a Walgreens, I was expecting to see, some English, because, it's American territory. No, everything was in Spanish. And I was like, well, because I've gone to Mexico, and there was about the same number of Spanish in Mexico as a U.S. territory in Puerto Rico. So it's much different. And there's a lot of good culture down there, and it's just awesome. So, number 9, Megan?
I chose South Dakota, and it's kind of one of those states where I just kind of feel like a lot of good stuff's happening, and there's a lot of like growth and opportunity. That's basically my thing. They have some cool schools.
The only downside to the Dakotas is they're also the 2 states. Well, South Dakota, I think, is the most mentally compromised state for adolescents. They have the highest suicide rate. But
No,
also,
I thought it was Alaska.
no, South Dakota for adolescents.
Okay.
But also, you're pretty likely to be scalped by somebody, which is unfortunate.
Okay.
Well,
Number 9, Tyler.
speaking of Alaska, I have Alaska.
Awesome. I love Alaska. I've never
I know,
been, but I
everyone
like it.
just forgets about Alaska, And I just think it's really cool. And I've my family's been there a lot. I have not, but there's a lot
Aw.
of I'm very fishing. I talk about that a lot, but they do a lot of ice fishing down there and get a lot of cool stuff. And I just enjoy it, and I think it's really
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Did you know Alaskan king crab fishing's the most dangerous job in the world?
It is.
I've
It's
seen
terrifying.
yeah.
I'll,
They're
I'll also say the very best state at the National Science Olympiad tournament was
They were
Alaska.
so
They were the
nice.
nicest group of kids I think I've ever
Well, it's
met in
because
my
they've
life.
never seen anybody else.
they did better
they
than us.
Yeah, they did do better.
We're
than
just
us.
not good.
But I
Aw.
swear, I saw them everywhere that I turned.
You need to have high self-efficacy.
Well, didn't they sit right behind us?
Yeah, well, they
They
sat
did.
right in front of us. They sat
Oh.
in
They
front of
were
us because they
behind
were
us.
they were the ice.
Speaking of science Olympiad, Buster, shouldn't we start a social studies Olympiad?
That'd be
It's too
awesome.
That'd be so awesome.
Have the quiz
It's
bowl.
too late.
That'd be
There's a
so
social
great.
studies fair.
Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like full on national competition, worldwide competition.
Guys, my presentation. Why I hate the government. First place.
I would
Yeah.
love that. Like different, like we'd have psychology, American history, world history, American politics,
What about like Indonesian politics?
Indonesian politics and culture,
Sociology.
sociology.
Yeah, I think that's the most underrated of them all.
I'm taking that
No one
right
ever
now.
talks
It's
about it.
interesting though, honestly.
I
Sis-
tried to take like 2 classes, and then they're pretty much like, oh, no.
Well, I'm taking it at Marshall right now, and it's pretty good class. Like if you ask me, I'm on like unit 2, but it's really interesting because it kind of merges a lot of the like social studies together. So
A lot of social psychology,
and, it
correct?
also has it has a lot of history with it. Like the first unit is all history, and then the second goes into like actual sciences. So
Okay, let's hear number 9, Buster.
My number 9 is one of the original 13 colonies. This is Pennsylvania. This is like such a nice state in every way. The culture's wonderful. Yeah, Philadelphia's a little dangerous. Whatever, so is Huntington. I don't care about dangerous. The culture's great. This is like where liberty was born. This is where like Benjamin Franklin was, and Benjamin Franklin was awesome. Cool schools. The city's given birth to some of my favorite stuff, like the David
Oh.
Lynch film Eraserhead. And Todd Rundgren made his beginnings there as a musical artist. This is a great state, and it's founded on Quaker principles, and Quakers are the most...
I
We
think
love
Kobe Bryant went to high school in Pennsylvania, so.
See? Well, I mean, a lot of people do, but still.
I guess I'll go on to my number 8. I want to place a picture of this place here. This is the U.S. Virgin Islands, aka specifically, as also known as that doesn't make a lot of sense, but specifically St. Thomas, because St. Thomas is amazing. It is probably one of the coolest islands I've ever been to. You literally show up and there's just a mountain with like houses just going over the mountain, just covering the mountain.
Is it a mountain or volcano?
It's a mountain.
Okay.
And there's like these mountainous islands beside the island. They're so cool. Some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I'll place some pictures here. And then here. And then some more here. We'll put a bunch up here and over there. More for Buster to edit. And maybe one more here. And then it's so beautiful though. Like, I'll show you guys some pictures just really quick, because we have to hurry.
I have nothing to add.
I actually have to be home.
You're gonna take all those pictures.
I have to be home in 43 minutes. So
Sounds like a personal problem.
it,
It does
does
sound like a
Mm.
personal problem.
Guys, this is probably going to be the first top 10 anybody ever watches.
Look at this.
Go for us.
Look at this. Look how beautiful it is. It's just
That is pretty.
it's beautiful.
You're gonna have to insert all of this.
I'm gonna have to insert all these pictures.
You gotta
should just
send
put
them
Not
there.
really. Like on the
They're like,
Look how,
they're
like,
over here
it's
somewhere.
so beautiful.
Just Google it.
Let me try to find. I think it's Megan's Cove, is what it's called.
Wow.
I think it's Megan's. No, it's Megan's Bay. Is what the name of it is. This is
Your
on
booth
top.
hang.
The cruise ships and stuff, and like that was on top of a mountain. And yeah, this was at Megan's Bay right there. That's Marshall
Merit
Scholarship.
scholarships.
Oh, that's Dominican Republic. No, see,
You only have pictures of places?
I feel like my thing's
it's
spammed with
beautiful.
like pictures. Like, oh, here we go.
Oh, that's Puerto Rico.
I propose we continue on. What's your number 8?
Mine's South Carolina. I'm totally biased. That's why I loved living in South Carolina. It was so beautiful. So many like different cultures throughout the state. Like I lived kind of central, like it wasn't on a beach, and I lived there until 3rd grade, and I just loved everything about it. I went to Gilbert schools. So like it was just a small town, and it had so much going for it, and there was so much growth like for everybody. Like there was so much opportunity there, and I just think it was a really good state. So totally biased, but
We'll just keep her moving. Because I'm gonna get in trouble if I'm late. I will
Mhm.
hurry. I'm not talking about any more of mine. I promise.
I'll go quick.
I
Okay,
just wanna-
so I have Idaho just because I think it's a really interesting state, and I've never like had the opportunity to
Potatoes.
like potatoes, but I've never
Boise
offered
State.
opportunity to go like to like the western side of like the United States. So if I was going to Idaho,
Awesome.
where I'll be.
Buster number 8.
Number 8, Oregon. It's where you can find
Nike.
Bigfoot.
And Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
Nike's
Nike?
lame.
Nike's in Oregon.
Screw those sports brands.
Okay.
Bigfoot.
Well, I'll go into my number 7, New York City. I haven't been since I was in the second
Oh yes,
grade.
my favorite
Or not?
state.
Did I
New
say
York.
New York City? I meant New York. I haven't been to New York in 9 years.
Should've joined the
But I'm
Olympiad.
going back next year after a 10-year break of not being in New York.
My cousin lives in New York now.
Oh, really? Awesome. Well, I'm going to New York City, and I'm smoking a cigar in Times Square
You do that.
because I want to be cool. I'm staying in Times Square too.
Are you insane?
I'm staying in
Do
Times
you want to
Square.
get out of your room?
It's gonna be a little wild.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a wild time, but I'm going with my dad and my family. The main reason we're going. I'm sorry, I'm taking forever. Was because the pizza tour.
There we
That was
go,
the
yeah.
idea behind it. Was the pizza tours.
Oh my gosh.
That was the only reason we were like, pizza tours would be fun.
That reminds me, like, sorry, this is really off topic, but there was like McDonald's used to have pizza,
Yeah.
and the only place I had it left was like here in West Virginia, and some people
Yeah, and
came
then
from
they shut it-
Canada
They shut it
to
down
get
though,
it. I know, but
just like last year.
McDonald's pizza, man.
I'm sad. We'll go on to your number 7.
Well, I chose Michigan, which is kind of just because I think its location is really cool and its education is really cool. My stepmom lived there for a bit, and it's just like the education there is so much higher than other places, and I just think it's a overall good place. I've never like really stayed there for an extensive period of time or like seen the tourist destinations, but it's
Guess which state has the best education? Massachusetts.
I
Average-
believe
Oh, are you
yeah,
talking
There,
about
yeah,
like state
for
provided, like public education?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's not even a competition.
Oh,
Yeah.
Massachusetts average ACT score is 26.
We're running a sweet 49th.
Our average ACT is 19.
Are you serious?
Theirs is 26.
I believe
We
that
should
is-
just all move to Massachusetts.
Arkansas is like 18.
We have a wonderful education program. Let's give them a round of applause. If you're at home, I want your parents to
Okay,
round
I don't
applause.
think it's the teacher. I love our
Teachers are
teachers.
great.
I think the teachers are awesome.
Curriculum's lame. Board's lame. I hate them.
I really do believe Cabell Midland is like the best school in the state. Like, I believe that we do
G-Dub.
have,
Sorry.
but we do have so much opportunity at Midland.
I think comparatively,
like-
like,
You
I
ta-
transferred to Midland for the education.
I think
that's why I'm
if
here.
you take the teachers out, though, it would be a totally different school. You
Well,
replace
that's with
for
them.
sure.
every school. That's with every single school. If you take out the teachers, it's not the same.
I don't know, Mr. Stead, Mr. Scalise, the whole social studies department. That's top notch.
Mr.
That's
White.
hard to beat.
Mr. White.
That's
This-
really
that
hard to
class
beat.
was lovely.
I'll say the same like about like every department though, because I really like our science department. I'm also biased because science Olympiad, but I like our science department. I think that we have a good math department.
Mr. Ozzy,
The man.
Yeah, Mr. Riazzi, Miss Wise.
Miss It John.
I've
Oh,
only,
Miss
had,
Wise.
I've only had one legitimate English department teacher.
That you
and
enjoyed,
she
or
was great.
Brooks?
Yeah, but I
Miss
didn't
Brooks
have
was-
any other.
You didn't
Well,
have any
I,
other?
had, I had Miss Dilly 9th grade, and she was such of a good teacher. I'll
that
say
kind
that.
of counts as like an academy thing, though.
I don't know. I had
yeah.
Miss
Well,
Cardinal.
it was just for English 9 honors, but then I had Miss Brooks the 2 years, and she's been really good. So I've had good English teachers every year at Midland.
I think Miss Brooks is the best English teacher I've ever had by
I-
far.
I
She-
agree.
No
Miss Brooks
competition.
is such of a good English teacher.
She's definitely top 5 teachers at that school for me.
Honestly.
But like, I think we are not near nothing against our students, but I don't think we're not near the smartest. However, if you look at our AP scores, our standardized tests, as in the SAT and ACT, are a lot lower than normal. However, our AP scores are much higher, and I think this is because of our teachers. Because like Hurricane, right up the road, I barely know anyone who's an AP scholar. Now you go up to our wall, there's like 40 or 50 people.
Also, no disrespect to the students from our school, but I think our school has like 10 times the state average of adolescent suicides.
Oh, there's been a ton. That's
that's-
it's
Yeah.
terrible, and they're I wish
Well, it might not
I
be
wish
suicide, but
schools
it is
across the
death
country
rate.
would do more about it, and we would use our resources because it's sad,
This
it's
is what we
growing,
do.
and it's
We
terrible.
give them more homework so they don't have time to be depressed.
Like, I understand the educational standpoint of it, but like overbearing amounts of homework. Like, it should be stuff that you could like
Achieve.
theoretically achieve during school. Like, you
Mhm.
could do it if you utilized your time
So
correctly.
we don't do that.
Yeah, well, that's on the student.
Wait,
I would
where
say
are we?
everything that I don't do in class
think
is
I'm next.
entirely my fault.
If that's
Wait,
what we're
where
talking
are
about.
we in the top 10?
7
Seven.
on
We
Seven?
need to go.
I have Tennessee. Just because I like Tennessee and it's
Tennessee.
gorgeous.
Yeah, Pigeon Forge.
I know,
Rocky
like Gatlinburg, it's
Top
so cool.
will
Gatlinburg is
All right,
always
Dollar
my
be
number
Park.
7,
home
Michigan.
sweet home.
It's pretty cool because it's like
Oh.
cold and there's beaches and there's lighthouses.
Oh my
It's
I
like a
know.
little
Y'all are
isolated
twinning.
ocean place. I like it.
Awesome. I had South Carolina. It's because Megan's from there.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Thank
only
you.
reason.
And Hilton Head, my
Oh,
favorite
I would
island.
actually
Your
give it to
six.
you.
That's my 6. Okay, next 6.
Utah.
Mormons.
That's it.
Yeah, I just think that Utah's awesome. That's
That's it.
end of discussion.
I have New York just because I think like the culture from it and like the diversity is really neat, and I got to go there last year for like the first
Cornell
time.
University.
So yeah, really good education too.
6, Montana. I don't have to talk to anybody. I
Unabomber.
can do whatever
Number
I
four.
want. 5.
5. North Carolina. It's like South Carolina, but better.
5 Texas, because I love Texas and it's next to Oklahoma, which is where my dad lives, and so like it's like right on the. We spend more time in Texas than Oklahoma because it's right on the Texas border, and there's just so much to do. It's so big that there's like so many different cultures throughout it. There's no like negatives to Texas. That's all I can say.
I put Nevada because I just think it's a really interesting state, and you know
That's
Yeah.
where Area 51 is, right?
that's what. Yeah, and the raid's happening in a couple days.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
is.
saying.
Yeah, 2 days.
My number 5 is Utah. They have the Skinwalker
Mormons.
Ranch, and they have Mormons.
I like Mormons. Mormons are
Y'all are
nice.
like twinning.
They're-
And
they're so
Design
nice.
Valley
He
National
copied me.
Park.
He did
and
copy
Design
you.
Valley is amazing.
Plagiarism.
They're so nice, though.
Mormons are like, if I could pick one
Post Malone.
demographic to overwhelm all the others, it would be Mormons.
And
Also-
Matt Stone and Trey Parker may give them a lot of
They're-
crap,
Mormons are great.
but they're great.
Also, Post Malone endorses Utah,
He moved to Utah from Hollywood because he said Hollywood's bad.
and Utah is great.
There's
exactly.
mountains too. Mountains are always cool.
Mountains.
Yes.
Oh,
and
and-
Post
Salt
Malone.
Lake City.
Post Malone's a
Beautiful.
Megadeth fan, so
We love Post Malone. Shout out.
yeah, shout out to Post Malone. All right, number 4 for me, Alaska. Sweet. That's where Sarah Palin's from.
My favorite part about Alaska is you're like 10 times more likely to be a psychopath. It's great.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
love
Like
Active murderers
isolation.
on every campus everywhere.
My 4th is Arkansas, and that's just like
Arkansas.
naturally like it's such of a cool state. Like it just has so much nature, like that's crazy in comparison to most of the states. If you ask me, like it's just a cool state.
For my 4, I put Louisiana because I love like the New Orleans culture and like witchcraft and like voodoo and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting.
There's a lot of voodoo down in Key West as well.
Really, yeah, there is. It's kind of interesting.
Chucky's house is down there.
And there's the
The big
the
purple
Robert
one?
doll.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. What's your number 4, Buster?
My number 4 is Massachusetts. It's a great place. It's one of the founding father places.
It's where Ben should be.
But no,
He doesn't want to
That
be
out.
there.
I'm editing that out.
Are you editing that out?
Yes.
Ben, okay, wait. We
Ooh,
talked
got in
about
trouble.
it's not okay. He's upstairs, but it's not that he.
No.
It's okay. It's not that the college. I feel like he wanted to just be in Boston though, and I feel bad that he's not there, because I feel like
No.
he's worth. He could achieve so much there, and it'd be great.
The British are coming. Massachusetts is great. Great education.
Wait, is that all
but
gonna be edited
it's a
out?
little too cynical.
Am I gonna be edited out?
Yeah.
Why? I think Ben would be.
He's a private man.
I
Leave
get
him
that.
be.
I don't understand all of his explanation for not going up there, but like, I feel like he would have liked it up there. Now, maybe not the school, but Boston itself.
Number 3.
Okay, I'm gonna be edited out. Now I'm like, oh man.
You should leave that part in. I'd be like, man, I'm gonna be edited out. Darn.
I'm gonna be like, oh man. That was bad. Florida. Florida man.
We get a salute for Florida. She was good while she lasted.
Oh my god. You gotta stop, man.
we
We're not
don't-
even talking about that yet. It's important.
Your number 3, Megan?
Massachusetts, because I love Boston. Like, if Boston is just something close to my heart, and like their doctors, amazing. Can't even like
It's a Harvard,
explain it. Yeah, Harvard University, amazing. Like,
MIT,
if you don't know, like,
Boston
I
College,
want
like
to hear something
the
interesting.
biggest
Boston
supporter of
University.
Boston
Harvard.
University,
Carly like
Amherst.
went on this.
Full Sail. Oh, it's Florida.
Not
Anyway,
really.
there was like a probability generator where you like enter information. It's like how likely you're getting to Harvard, and like hers is like 0.06%, and yours is like 3% chance or something. And mine was
Wait,
like
you entered
2%.
mine in?
I didn't. It was Carly.
How'd you know?
I don't know.
I'm
Well-
100%.
Obviously.
I'm
I-
100%, but I'm not applying. I'm too
I
good.
just love Harvard. I know that they focus so much on like everything. Like, you almost have to be like perfect. Like, it's not even like merit based. Like, I'd be like, okay, but like they focus not even like just on that, like on community service. Like, they're just so well rounded as everything. And like the best doctor I've ever met in my life graduated from Harvard University, built their oral maxillo department, and like wrote the book that that department was founded on. And like, he is just an amazing like doctor, and I wish that everybody got to know him. So I love Massachusetts and their education.
I don't like a Harvard for a couple of things though. Denying that one girl in psychology that her degree back in like 19 what was her name again?
Oh, we
No.
learned about her in
Was
psych.
it
Yeah.
Washburn?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Watkins? I don't
That
know.
and accepting remember the guy from Parkland?
Yeah.
He got it, okay. So I understand like why they did it, but at the same time they're going against their own standards because he only got a 1260 on the SAT. So how could you say that like, well, we want everyone to be this high on these tests, but this guy gets an exception?
Every school makes questionable decisions.
Did you know that Mr. Riazzi has
Don't-
a 1540 on the SAT?
Go him.
Pretty lit.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like,
And he went to Marshall.
and he went to Marshall.
but
Kills me, man.
I
Yeah.
know. He was like,
He-
they paid for it, and we're like,
Yeah, he's like,
but
I got
somewhere
offers
else
from
would've paid for it.
Cornell, I got offers from all this, but he was like, but I get paid to go to Marshall, so he went there. But like, he's so smart. Like a 1540. Oh my gosh.
genius level.
Your turn.
Who's number 3?
Oh, okay. I have Colorado because I have family there, and I also think it's a really interesting state with their like a lot of their political views, and
legalizing that marijuana
Yeah.
first. They were first to do so.
yo.
Alright,
Yep.
I'm going to Alaska. Like I said, number 3, Alaska, because everyone's insane. You don't have to talk to anybody. It's cold. It's mountainous. I can do whatever I want. Nobody cares. I can homestead. It's cold. And I can go nuts, and nobody's going to care.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
I have number 2, Texas. Best amount of fast food options. Best amount of food options in
In-N-Out.
general. Best amount of barbecue options and brisket options. Dallas and Houston are pretty lit. I almost got in a plane crash when I was going back to Houston because I was flying from Mexico to Houston to here. When I was coming from Houston to here, we turned around at about 10 o'clock at night because there's something wrong with the plane, but they wouldn't tell us what, and it was really sketchy. Some stuff went down on the way back. It was just sketchy in general, and why would they didn't tell us, and they like turned around, it was sketchy. Didn't really make sense, but we probably wouldn't have crashed. It would probably something very minimal, but we like to believe that it could have been something terrible. Maybe I'm the only one. But Houston was pretty lit, and Dallas was even more lit-er. It was litter. And it's just so massive. Like the sheer size of Dallas is like impressive
And
upon
Houston's
itself.
huge. Houston's
And Houston
like
is
50-mile
too.
radius or something like that. It's a huge city.
But yeah, that's my second favorite. Okay, we'll go on to yours, Megan.
I chose Oregon, and that's because they have really good environmental policies. They very environmentally friendly. Just usually highly educated. They have some good universities. I really can't say anything bad about Oregon. They're just a really good overall state.
A lot of people like dissented for like being too liberal. Everybody's polite. Like that stigma's not there.
Yeah.
Like if you go to California, maybe, but like everybody in Oregon that I talked to is really pleasant. And Bigfoot.
And Bigfoot.
You know what like the microclimates there are? It's
Like-
freaking cool. If you
Yeah.
drive like 20 minutes in a different direction, the climate's like way different.
Yeah.
That's
and
insane. Like I
it's
didn't
weird,
know that.
kind of like the Texas of the north. It's just a really good state.
Yeah.
And it's in the corner, silly. It's like
Corner
you
state.
know, yeah.
For my number 2, I have Massachusetts, basically for the same reason stated earlier. And like my dream school, like since I was like in elementary school, was like MIT. But that's a very.
It was until I hate math and science now,
Well,
unfortunately.
I just thought I wasn't that smart.
It kind of got ruined for me.
By who?
Don't expose them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Exposed.
do that.
I know who it is.
Yeah, but
I could probably. Is it like a T? You can edit that out.
It's not really the teacher. I think it's more what happened.
it's a collection of various.
I'll tell you, one teacher like ruined math for me for a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're just
But,
gonna
like, I
ignore
wanted
that.
to be a physicist and I wanted to go to MIT.
See, I'll say it
I'm not
says
feeling
something
it.
that like my dream school was Harvard, yours was MIT,
not
and like
happening.
both of us had dream schools based in Massachusetts, and that says something about their education.
True.
Wait, and
Yeah.
you're welcome, Buster. By the way, you know who talked you into taking psychology last year? 'Cause you're gonna take European history,
I
and then
couldn't-
I
they
didn't take.
offer it.
Yeah, and then I told you need to sign up for AP Psych. I told you
I
that.
did, and it
I
was
told
great.
you and Will that.
I have a regret.
Now you're gonna be
though.
the greatest psychologist
Is that
or
what you wanna do?
psychiatrist
I
ever.
do wish I took contemporary
Academically,
studies also.
Yes, but I have various things that are all going to happen. Everything's going to fall into line. It's going to be wonderful. But
It takes a
we need
long
to move
time.
along.
Yeah, it takes a long time to explain.
So your 2 is Massachusetts.
Yes.
My number 2 is North Dakota. It's sort of like Alaska, but it's actually in the constitutional United States. There's nothing going on. I was driving late at night. Nothing can be seen either direction. No headlights. The road, off the road, is ice and water, and that's it. No lights. It's wonderful. You see Bismarck on the horizon. You see an alien on top of a bar. The Comfort Inn hotel pool stays open all night. It's great. Bismarck is where it's at. North Dakota has Fargo, Bismarck, and Indians that
Gosh,
might
you need to
scalp
go.
you, but that's a different problem.
My number 1 was Montana because Montana is awesome and the Unabomber and it's wide open. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't Georgia Lucas live there?
You might. Is that where the ranch is?
I guess.
The infamous
we
ranch.
I
were
thought
all
he
like,
lived
"Ugh."
there.
Okay, your number 1, Megan?
My number 1 is also Montana, and that's because I did a project on Montana in like first grade. I actually still have it. It looks terrible, but like ever since then, I have been so attached to Montana, and I love Yellowstone. Like, love Yellowstone. That's all.
My number 1's Florida, because I'm always gonna be partial to Florida. Like I have family down there. It's just always been.
I'm so
Huh?
sorry.
It's sinking.
Hold on, no. We're gonna avoid that. We're just not gonna talk about it.
You know
But
the Everglades are doing pretty well.
actually, they are, and I love the Everglades. Like it's gorgeous there.
There aren't python problems. I want to be a snake hunter in
A Burmese
Florida.
python.
Well,
I
you
wish
can
they
be an
would all
iguana
die.
I know.
hunter.
I looked up the applications and they only accept like 20 people. But I figure if I did it freelance, they'd still pay me.
Well, if you go to the Keys, there's a overrun of iguanas, and like they used to not be allowed to kill them. Like it was supposed to be like cruel and unusual punishment if you like killed them, and now it's like
Do
go
whatever.
nuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's too many.
My number 1 is the best state in the union. It's got Sin City. It's got Area 51.
Nevada.
It's got Death Valley. This is Nevada. This
Nevada.
place is awesome. Everything that you think shouldn't be going on is going on in Nevada, and it's great. There's so much crime in Las Vegas, and there's so much money and corruption, and it's great. The casinos are awesome. Like Egypt, like the ideal Egypt, not the real Egypt. It's in Las Vegas. New York, like the better New York, it's in Las Vegas. The freaking Knights of the Round Table, it's in Las Vegas. Aliens? No, they're not in Las Vegas, but they are in Area 51, probably. And then Death Valley, it's great. They're like, the gold miners are like, we're going to make money. And then they find a valley. We're going to go through this. And then they didn't make it because it's Death Valley. You know, they have cabins there, first come, first serve. You can stay there for free because nobody's staying there because it's a horrible place to live. There's just desolate cabins, and there's mining shafts that you're not allowed to go down, but you can go down if you want to. There's
That sounds
dangerous
pretty
salt lakes
awesome.
at the bottom. Nevada's awesome. Place
My
is the best.
sociology book has an entire page on Nevada and how socially they are so different from every state. They call it a social holiday location.
And also,
That's what they call it, because social holidays are like Mardi Gras, where people like you don't like the police just don't police.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just a thing in Nevada. They
That's
just
so
don't.
fun.
and something else really cool about Nevada is it's the coolest shaped state too.
That is true
That, like
because
that
it has like
diagonal
the
line.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.